March was surprisingly a pretty stacked month with metal releases.
We've got some great albums on this list. You're not going to want to miss it.
The fact that I have a power metal album on this list is a bit of a surprise even for me. Something about Kamelot's flavor of the genre though does something for me. It's darker, it's a little bit more emotional sounding, and it can be heavy as hell at times. So how does their 5-year return since the Shadow Theory sound? Pretty fucking awesome that it's still 100% what I love about Kamelot. The first thing that you'll notice on The Awakening is the top-notch production. It's easily one of the best sounding albums that the band has done yet. There's some serious confidence in these songs too. And although there are a couple of duds, there's some new rules in the Kamelot playbook that hit hard and surprised the hell out of me. This is a highly sophisticated symphonic power metal album that seems to experiment and sometimes nail it, and sometimes also miss the mark, unfortunately. There are a lot of bangers on this album though, and it's a little bit front-loaded, but I had a blast with this record overall. This is a band I would love to see perform with an actual orchestra. That would be so much fun. Definitely check this out if you are missing the symphonic heavy power metal sound.
American-based Vrednesdal is back with the Fury, putting out their 4th full-length record, Sonic Devotion to Darkness, out March 31st on Soul Cellar Records. I had this band on our most anticipated list for this month, and let's be real, it should be no surprise that they delivered with this album. We are both guitarists here, and so we know great riff, tone, or gear worship when we see or hear it. The Goblin Reaper of Vrednesdal is clearly a lover of his instrument, as all of these songs contain thrashing riffs and ripping solos. Here, check one of them out. I'm really glad that the Goblin Reaper himself is playing with a drummer, Lord Mortkin. It really makes a difference in the feel of these songs, which absolutely sound best in a live environment versus trying to vibe with electronic drums. That doesn't always work out for everybody, present company included. The dings on this record are the Reaper's vocals. They're fine, but I'm particular about vocalists, and I think if they made some changes in that department, not necessarily with the lineup, but maybe with the delivery, the EQ, that kind of stuff, shaping it and stuff, I think that they would really be elevating themselves as a band. I've got a couple of records to check out from these guys that I missed. They've just been blasting them out since 2019 with almost an album a year. If you love guitar-driven black metal with hooks and riffs, get on this one.
Downfall of Gaia, Silhouettes of Disgust. This is a band that I have never heard of before and is quickly becoming a favorite of 2023 so far. I love myself some sludgy post-black metal, and the 6th album released by this band is a great place for me to start. It's been a while since I've fallen for a band that can embrace that lo-fi production, sound great, and write those lengthy post-rock sections that you can lose yourself in for days. You've got traces of Mogwai influence found all over Silhouettes of Disgust. It's almost as if Explosions in the Sky, Mogwai, also listen to Dark Throne on a regular basis. All of this is pure grim joy for the black metal diehards out there like me who have grown up with the genre and seen it develop into the killer black gaze subgenre that we love today. The long songs here are highly welcomed. They do it very well here. It let me lose myself for hours, letting this album just crash over me like a storm and just soak into my bones. This album really did it for me this month in the black metal category. That's why it's my top pick. This album has all of the best sounds of melancholy while still letting you think that there's a light in the distance. Ah, for a band on their 6th album, I have high hopes. This is a great record. Definitely check this out if you like post-black metal.
Enslaved Heimdall released March 3rd on Nuclear Blast, and this was a very highly anticipated album for us here at The Forge. I'm kind of surprised that you didn't pick this one. Brandon, you've been a longtime fan. You blow this band every time you can get the chance. Yes, you are. Me, on the other hand, I don't get this band, and that doesn't mean I don't like them. I just don't understand what the fuck they're doing, and it like delights me. Heimdall is yet another addition to this band's progressive black psychedelic catalog where they continue to explore sounds outside of what their counterparts are doing. There aren't a lot of bands I can compare to Enslaved. I think Ulver and Borknagar come the closest, but even then Enslaved stands out as being in a league of their own. This album fucking crushes, dude. The second song to me feels a bit out of place with its meticulous long buildup, but the payoff in the rest of the album and the song itself basically kind of makes me forget how bored I was by the time the album finishes. One of their highlight records since, they've been doing this progressive style. If you haven't checked it out, shame on you. We're gonna wag our fingers. Check it out.
Sotana, Onus, 1. Kalma and Ensiferum fans, pay the fuck attention. Of course, the Finnish have done it again with another unbelievable melodic death metal record with symphonic metal influences. This is their third full-length album, and I absolutely fell in love with this record on first listen. It reminded me of the times when bands like Wintersun, when they were good and weren't just trying to take your money, Northern and Kalma were huge, and holy shit, Sotana nail the sound in the best fucking way. There's something about the power metal influence with the melodic black and death metal that just plain works here. They've added some other cool influences too that reminded me of the clean sections of Olden Domain era of Borknagar, and I'm totally here for it, dude. This is such a fucking awesome band. Check out this clip of Through the Mammoth Valley. This album is relentless from front to back. I enjoyed the hell out of the entire record. If you like that frostbitten, keyboard-drenched black death metal sound, you'll be right at home here, and you'll lose yourself in the frostbitten world. What a great surprise of a record. Definitely check it out.
And Mariana's Rest is not taking a fucking rest, Forgemates. We've been blowing this band for a couple of years now. Fata Morgana was an absolute standout of 2021. This year's released Air drops March 24th and easily stands out as one of the highlights in the melodic doom death category. This band has had forward momentum unlike any other in the subgenre. They've continued to deliver sorrowful yet memorable tracks filled with melancholy and some of the most emotional vocal performances we've ever heard in this subgenre. Seriously, this band has a great balance of fantastic music and vocals, coupled with the confidence of their sound. Check out one of these tracks, and I will prove it to you. This year has had no shortage of fantastic melodic doom death so far, and we will eat this shit up whenever we can take it, inject it right into our veins, please. Our mid-year and end-of-the-year lists in this subgenre are going to be fucking game of centimeters, dude. It's going to be like, or in our case, decimal points, because we rate things with decimal points. This album is going to be really hard to top, given its pacing, its delivery, and its overall construction. This one burns the soul in a good way.
Isol and Isadora. Man, this is a doom metal band that I haven't listened to in a long time, and this new record fucking rules. This is a doom metal band more in the melodic category, similar to what Donna Solace are doing right now. There's some seriously impressive musicianship and songwriting here that has me, as a doom nerd, totally spellbound. The album opens with The Songs of the Whales, which is also the first single. They did a fantastic job here maintaining the feel of the whole record throughout. What you get in this first track is what you get the whole time. The album has an epic feel and balances those heavy riffs with the melodic blanket of atmosphere that permeates throughout the entire record. The vocals glide along with that catchy cadence that is addicting and almost folky at times. Check out this clip of Songs of the Whales. The guitars weave that sad, beautiful melody and harmony that almost take up a life of their own throughout. The bass and drums, especially in the later half of the record, hold down a very strong and heavy foundation that reminds us of Issol's ability to just fucking crush us. If you love your doom on the romantic, heavy as hell, and melodic side, Issol are an awesome and refreshing take on the genre that I haven't really heard in a long time. I loved this record. It's a tight spin too, with no fat on it.
Mark's Dipet is here again, another one of our most anticipated albums of the month. This album is out via Peaceful Records. This is a Norwegian solo act spearheaded by Thomas Eriksson that has been quietly releasing records since the early 2010s, despite their inception several years prior. They don't get as much fanfare as some of their counterparts, and that's probably just because I don't actually know why. I really don't. This band delivers that solid, frozen, cold igloo of black metal that we enjoy here at The Forge. I'm going to prove it to you with this convenient cutaway. Yeah, man, I know this band has been on your radar, and I'm still fairly new to them, but Dipet stands out this year among their contenders for sure. It's safe to say that their highlight release is probably 2016's Den Vendrende Skiga, and I think that one definitely stands out as their magnum opus, but there's something about Dipet that should leave fans of the band feeling pretty fulfilled. There was a couple years ago this month that Mork put out Katadrellin, another formidable record from this band. While we aren't going to do a tier ranking on them, I think if we're going to throw a loose top 3 around, it's probably going to be these 3 records I just talked about. Dipet, Katadrellin, and Den Vendrende Skiga. Try those on for size, and you can thank us later.
Every time I hear this band name, it makes me think of Mork and Mindy, which is an American TV show from forever ago.
Yeah, the 70s.
Before our time.
Way before our time. That was like Robin Williams' first thing. Yeah.
They should make a black metal band called Mindy. And then they should tour together.
Like tour, yeah. No, absolutely.
Entheos, Time Will Take Us All. Just look at that fucking album art, man. Absolutely phenomenal. Probably my favorite album cover that's been put out so far this year. I've been on a grind lately for some reason. I don't know why, with technical and progressive death metal. I didn't really like it for like decades, but now I'm in love with it for some reason. Entheos scratches those itches in the best way and in a new, refreshing way. This is some seriously impressive and ferocious death metal that's top notch. Every instrument sounds pristine and slick, rolling over you and just stabbing you with total precision. The vocals are fearsome and ferocious throughout too. I love those rolling bass lines all over the record with tight synchronization between the riffs and the drums. It's dizzying at times in the best way with their supreme focus and deliberate nature. For all its intricacy and aggression, the third Entheos album really fucking grooves. Check out this clip from Absolute Zero. This album has some really cool pacing to it too. The front of the record is blazingly technical and yet pretty catchy for some reason. And the later half feels more accessible. Entheos has set forth a killer technical death metal journey here that I absolutely loved, straying away from the predictability of modern deathcore and that hyper stimulation of wankery tech death and the overbearing mechanical groove into which gent, not a genre apparently, has pigeonholed itself. Time Will Take Us All blends all of its punishing ingredients in a way that's just sophisticated and highly exciting. Definitely check this out if you love tech death.
Burden of Ymir put out the epic folk saga Herot March 10th via Flowing Downward Dog Records. That's not the name of the album, right? It's just Flowing Downward.
Did you just make like a Crouching Tiger joke?
No, it was like a yoga joke. Canadian multi-instrumentalist Joe Caswell is the mind behind Burden of Ymir, and I really think that this musical act has the potential to be remembered alongside some of the other great one-man black metal bands that have been leaning into that folk sphere that we talk about and we love. Caswell harnesses one of the ancient tales of folklore, the legend of Beowulf, and incorporates it into this record. It's a strong concept, concept, obviously one of the greatest fucking legends of our time, and the whole runtime makes you feel as if you're sitting in a tavern listening to a unique retelling of an ancient myth. There's a whole slew of instruments here, from the standard guitar work to accordions. Yeah, I never thought I'd hear that instrument in a metal band and like sound good like outside of like a polka ensemble. Take a listen to one of those moments. This record is stacked with memorable leads driven by whatever instrument is taking the front at that time. It could be guitar or accordion or whatever the hell else, some synth thing. There's fantastic guitar work, obviously, blistering black metal influences in a tavern-esque atmosphere that is both homey and adventurous. Every year I enjoy at least one or two solid folk metal albums. This is one of those of 2023.
What are some of your favorite metal albums from March? Drop them down below in the comments, and check out this list right here for our reviews and tier lists of 2023 so far.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. Devote yourself to the darkness.